Breaking news, World Athletics has banned trans athletes. About bloody time, man. Let's cross over now to my correspondent at Sky News to find out more.
The World Athletics Council has today taken the decisive action to protect the female category in our sport, and to do so by restricting the participation of transgender and DSD athletes. The decision was taken in consultation with a number of stakeholders, including 40 member federations, our coaches, our athletes, and through the Athletes Commission, as well as a range of other community groups, including trans groups, UN experts, the International Olympic Committee, and para-athletics.
Like Uncle Jason said, about bloody time. We do not need to talk to all these organisations and all these scientists and all these experts when simple a two bob person from down the road, like with an ounce of common sense, could have told you this years ago, that men who have become women, who still have male skeleton structures in physical sports, especially combat sports and athletic sports, will have an advantage over women. Every single trans athlete that enters as an athlete is taking a place away from a woman's athlete. So we are basically depriving women who work all their sporting careers to try and get into professional sport. For every trans athlete there is, we take away one space for a female athlete. Thank goodness common sense has prevailed. The suffragettes would not have had to suffer in silence now. This is just crazy. Like, there has been such campaigns in the past for women's rights, and we have allowed this to go on for far too long. Uncle Jason says enough is enough. We need to start telling these people, this is nonsense, we're not going to take it anymore, and it's not happening.
With the transgender athletes, the majority of those consulted stated that transgender athletes should not be competing in the female category. Many believe there is insufficient evidence that trans women do not retain advantage over biological women, and more evidence than any physical advantages have been ameliorated before they are willing to consider an option for inclusion into the female category.
Right, that is called a bunch of PR BS. They do have an advantage because you can chop bits off and you can sew bits on, but end of the day, your chromosomes, your 26 pairs of chromosomes, are basically either XX for a female or an XY for a male. And your whole DNA, your whole brain, how your brain works, how your brain functions, your every skin, every fibre of your DNA is male or female. Now, yes, you can change your identity and you can chop bits off and sew bits on and take chemical hormones. But your brain and your heart cannot be changed. Genetically, we do not do brain transplants now, do we? Unless I've missed something massively in medical science, though medical science has been about 1,000 years advanced and more, I think it is at the moment, like. If I have, my niece and nephews, please tell me in the chat, like, but I'm pretty certain I have on this one. I can't stand, even though he's making a statement, he's still got to say lunacy. This is where he should stand up and say, look, we're not having this anymore. End of it, right? Uncle Jason could solve this in 1 minute, right? 60 seconds. Get your stopwatch and time there, and I'll solve this right now. Right. We have a problem in the world where trans athletes want to compete in athletical sports and athletes. They want to become athletes, I should say. Well, all you need to do is really simple solution is you have men's athletics, you have women's athletics, and you have transatlantic athletics. There, ta-da! Ta-da, it's our transatlantic athletes. There you are. Then they can compete in their own category, have their own medals, and have their own community and develop their whole sporting infrastructure around their community. Would that not be a wonderful thing rather than putting trans people in women's categories where they're depriving women of a place in sport, and also They're going from men who are like ranked 50th, 70th in the world, never breaking anywhere in rankings like, and they're suddenly transitioning into being into being a trans female, and they're winning things. Oh, I wonder why. How long would it take if we continue on this path before countries realise, hello, let's not train women athletes anymore, forget the female athletes, let's just get some transatlantic ones in, and we can win the women's sports and get all the medals. Like, it's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable how stupidity has ruled for so long. And now people are standing up and calling it out. Meanwhile, all my nieces and nephews, we have got to call this out. I heard a story, which I'll put on the screen in a minute, where a 9-year-old was forced into transitioning, and because the teacher was so radical, she wanted to transition a student, where this poor little girl in the United States of America was driven to near suicide like. We have got to start holding these teachers to account, and all these professionals to account, and in America especially, sue them. If they're doing this to your children, sue them. And when they go bankrupt the schools, and when the teachers can't have their wages, and then they'll soon listen. It's absolute abomination. It's got to stop, man. The one thing Uncle Jason is most passionate about is protecting our children and our silver tops. Right? When you're an adult and you want to chop bits off and sew bits on, do what the hell you like, man. Right? Each to your own, right? I don't care, right? As long as it don't hurt me and my family, each to your own. But you do not affect our children and our silver tops, man. It's bang out of order, and it's got to stop, man. And it's not the only thing in life and he's calling out on. Uncle Jason's ranting, raving. So, all my nieces and nephews, this is what I was talking about. This New York teacher who forced a 9-year-old girl to go by male pronouns, which nearly caused this 9-year-old girl to commit suicide and have suicidal thoughts. This is why sexual things, religion, and trans ideology does not belong in a classroom. Okay? Children should be children. Children are born and innocent. They are born as a blank canvas or a sponge with basic instincts, and they absorb what's around them and they grow and formulate from that. We should not be tampering with a child's identity and who they are. We should allow them to grow, and we should allow them to grow into what they're going to be, not try and force them into something because we want to celebrate this kind of thing. No, we do not affect our children, and like Uncle Jason always says, we do not affect our children and our silver tops. This has got to stop, right? Uncle Jason does not normally do this, but I'm going to do this. Let me get rid of that. Okay, this is the sick teacher in question. Now, I will not hold back on people like this, right? You do not pressure a child into changing their gender. Just because you have this mentality that's a bit not right like, does not mean you inflict your mentality and your personal, religious, cultural, sexual beliefs, your trans beliefs, whatever beliefs they are, onto a child. Your job, love, is there to teach English, maths, and science. That is your job. I want most parents would want their children to go to school to know 2 + 2 is 4 and to be able to read and write and to be able to use computers and have tech skills, learn business management and things like that. That is what children go to school for, not to be radicalised and be made by people like this woman here, you see on the screen, this woman is a vile pond-sucking pond life. And I really do hope the school goes and the parents sue for this. It is a joke. And hopefully now, with the world waking up, all my nieces and nephews, now, sorry, I'm going to have to stop. Get this woman off my screen. Get that woman off my screen, that's better. Right, back to what I was saying. Hopefully now the world is waking up, and we're going to wake up and we're going to realise we have got to allow people to be what they are and not try and influence and not try and make people what we want them to be to fit an ideology. And we basically all live by Uncle Jason's golden rule, each to their own. You be what you want to be. When you're an adult, you be what you want to be, right? If you're an adult and you want to dress up like a cat, you dress up like a cat. If you want to be an adult and you want to change gender, you carry on with that. But do not affect our children. That is bang out of order and wrong. Uncle Jason has very strong opinions on something, and Uncle Jason, like I always will say it as it is, like, man. I will not hold back on people like that. Absolutely an abomination, an embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment. I feel sorry. I know Americans and you're not all like this woman, and I do feel sorry for you, America. This woman's an abomination to your country, an absolute disgrace, vile, pond-sucking pond life. But like I said, people, we need to wake up and we need to not be doing this in the classrooms. Thank you, my nieces and nephews, for watching. Please like and share and subscribe on your way out. It will really help Uncle Jason out and get more people to see this, and more people can rise up again, and rise up against it. Thank you. I'll see you next one.